got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to PSGL once again for the E-Series Championship. Round 7 now of Season 3, Josh, and we're here at Imola, a track which is... It's a nice track, but racing-wise, it's quite difficult to overtake, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very technical track, of course. You know, you think you got the 11 to the left, only 4 corners to the right. It doesn't really get played on too much. But considering you've got 2 of them through Aqua Minerale, it could certainly be a little bit of a handful for the drivers to really try and dial themselves in and get used to it. But, you know, you think about it every now and then. Imola, it's historic. Deserves its place on Formula 1 calendar. Why not on the E-Series calendar as well?
Yeah, of course. I think this is honestly one of my favourite circuits ever. It's got to be one of my top 3 favourite circuits. I don't know what it is. It's just the aura around this track. The atmosphere is just brilliant. And I can't wait to get underway here tonight for the qualifying and the race. And we'll have a quick look at the standings to see how their lineup looks. And well, Williams have now got themselves to the top of the standings. So from round 1 to round 6, it was SRC and F7R which were top in the standings. And now our first esports team took them 7 rounds, now sit on the top step about 11 points ahead of S7R, of course, is Williams Esports, and Ferrari in third on 184. Then 5 points back from them is R8G. Then another 5 points back is Race Clutch. Another 6 points back is SRC. Then another about 10 points back is Veloci Academy. So, Josh, that mid-pack there, P3 down to P7, that is going to be a brilliant fight all the season long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane, especially if you take into consideration the driver lineups we've got here today as well. I'm not sure if you'd be able to grab them up, but you look at those driver lineups and you think about those teams involved, you know, Ferrari, Race Clutch, Veloci Academy, RHG. I mean, even the likes SRC, Benzoni's back in there as well. There's so many talented drivers across this entire board. I mean, we know what Dylan Warren's capable of. Whenever he seems to get put into E-Series, he seems to find a little bit of magic somewhere. Then, of course, you've got one and only Thomas Ronha, Tamas Gal, RHG. Are they going to be able to recreate sort of, you know, the feeling they had only a couple of rounds ago around Austria, where they was able to secure that 1-2?
Yep.
You never know. You know, they've got the talent in that lineup to work together and pull something like that off. But for me, it's all going to be down to how well Williams are going to be able to hold on to this lead and how long for, because with the likes of Tycho Hardy, Nando Moreira, keeping them honest, to say the very least, pushing them all the way, I feel like it might be very tough. We could see that swap back and forth for the last couple of rounds of the season.
Of course, well, Williams have got Ika Boehner and Keane Godendorp, 2 very quick drivers. Ika has been around here for a long, long time now in this scene. I feel like I've seen him since around when I started being in this scene, around the start of 2022. And Keane Godendorp as well, obviously recently moved, well, I wouldn't say recently anymore, it's been about 3 or 4 months since he moved over to the PC side, and he's settled in very well, and now getting into full fruition of being part of the Williams team and getting some very good results. But a team I'm intrigued to see how they can do tonight is Race Clutch. They got Rieslington and Joris Kroos, and 2 very young drivers. Obviously, you know, recently both of them heading over into the Race Clutch team. I'm very keen to see what those 2 can do and how they can work together to try and get themselves a very nice result here tonight. But yeah, yet again, Josh, the grid is always fantastic as ever. And I'm very excited to see how it can go. And I think one good thing here for TES, they got a very strong lineup, haven't they? Jan Herde and Nelson Alves, both of them Challengers drivers from last game. Nelson got a very good result. I believe it was last time he raced out here in ECs, and Jan Herde as well, you know, part of the Aston Martin development team. He's also a very, very quick driver. So TES, hopefully tonight, looking for a top 10 here.
Hopefully tonight will be the night. Of course, we've just come out of Britain, where we had both of them running in the points for such a long period of time, but then they ended up falling back down the order, kind of getting swamped as well, ending up finishing 17th and 19th respectively. But you've got to think, only ways up for them. Yeah. It's past the halfway point now. We're on round 7. You've only got 4 more left to go. This is where you can start using those creative strategies, try something a little bit different to try and grab a couple extra points, because we mentioned that mid pack, but you've also got Novus on 69 points and Thomas Engine Simulation at 67 points. There's still a lot to be gained there, and any sort of point available for those teams, they're going to take it hands down.
Yeah,
it could
definitely
make such a huge difference.
Of course, I think they're a little bit far off, that top 7 train, looking to get to the front. But I think they can definitely have a nice battle with each other, and depending how TF10 can do, they might get involved in that battle for P8. And we'll have a quick look at the calendar for this season. And obviously, we're here now on round 7 here at Imola. Next week, we head off to Qatar. And then I believe somewhere in there, Josh, there's a break week. I don't know where, but I know there is one. And then we head off to Mexico, Las Vegas, and then we end off in Brazil. So well, I was nearly said, Brazil's not North American, isn't it? So it's not a North American triple header.
No, it's South America.
It's a double header North American followed by a single South American race at the end. Yes.
Yeah. So of course we've got Imola here today. Next week will be Qatar. The week after will be Mexico. But then after Mexico, we're going to have a break week. So imagine Las Vegas being on the 19th and then Brazil being on the 26th of April. It's kind of give you a heads up. Hopefully we'll be able to get that graphic shifted up a little bit and updated because, these drivers, they've been worked to the bone, haven't they? In PCF1, with all the drama heading around the F1 esports as well, they deserve a little bit of a break.
Of course, and I didn't realise that anyone had a qualifying ban, but Leo Lund has retired instantly on circuit. We'll head trackside here at Imola, and yes, it seems Leo Lund retired at the start of the session. I'm not sure exactly why, because I don't believe any team had a qualifying ban. I wasn't aware of that. I'll send Leo a message and quickly confirm of why his car's retired, and my game has gone. Josh, are you still here with us?
I am still here with you.
Unfortunately, I've been able to connect to EA servers. I think it's either my end or the servers have had an issue. Please say you're still in.
I'm still in.
Right, we'll move back to the intermission for a second. I can't connect to the game. I'm completely disconnected. The stream's still on, I think.
It is. The stream's still on. It's the infamous EA moment.
Yeah, just let us know, guys. Just keep me updated in the chat if the stream's still there and fully functioning, because I can't connect at all to the online services. Not aware there was an issue, and I think Steam's broken.
It might be. I know I've had it before. Steam servers go down mid-broadcast. It's been a very fun couple of weeks. I'm not exactly too sure what the beef is between EA and Steam, but hopefully they'll be able to sort it out. But if you do see me look over towards this direction, that's where I've got the lovely screen, which shows us all the key information. But we've got a lot of drivers going out on their adventure laps on the intermediate tyres. So while this all gets resolved, you're not missing too much, apart from a couple drivers maybe drifting a little bit for Aqua Minerali. But they're loving life at the minute. They're enjoying it to their full ability.
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself back in there. I've relaunched the game, and yes, I do believe that Leoland has a qualifying ban, and for this race, hence why he will start at the back. I thought for a second, please don't say it's that hated thing where you disconnect from the game and it retires you from the session. Don't know why it does it, but it loves to. But yes, apparently Yoris also got kicked out, so not many people got kicked out, but at least I'm not the only one for once. So yes, we should get back in straight away. Is anyone going out on the soft at all, Josh, or...?
Oh, I can have another quick look for you. No soft tyre runners. I mean, we've still got drivers who are refusing to go out hovering over the intermediate tyres at this point, but being very, very stubborn, especially Yoris which is apparently still in the session. I find very odd.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. Yeah, brilliant TA, of course, as usual, and of course Steam. 2 brilliant platforms which we all love dearly. And I'm just saying that not to get myself in trouble. And I believe I've got connection because I can now see that I'm level 17 in the battle pass, whatever they call it in the game. So I'm back. I can connect back in and hopefully not miss too much action here in E-Series. We'll pop ourselves back to the main screen so you can all watch for the moment where I get to join the session and get myself back in. And I'm hoping it doesn't put me in a car. I don't think anyone else got disconnected. So, and as I join, Yoris also joins. So there we are. Working for both of us. We're back in. And a little bit of a blip, Josh, but we're back underway.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the beautiful circuit of Imola. Unfortunately, Imola Cat isn't here to keep me entertained while we're waiting for a bit of information, but hey, it's not the end of the world. I'm sure Imola Cat had a great time. But Reese Linton now leaving the session. I'm starting to think this might be a slightly deeper issue than maybe just a couple servers going down.
Who else has left? Oh, Joe Marquard's left as well.
Oh
TF10.
dear.
Oh, here we are. Brilliant. Thank you, We love you so much. Yeah, so
Oh,
there we are. We'll go on board here with Jan Herde, who's on
uh,
a laptop at the current moment. He's luckily still connected to the EA servers. We can see Nelson Alves, quickest so far, with the 1 minute 17.852, of course, on the intermediate tyres. And Jan there having a slight invalidation as he headed through in towards this next section, in towards the Variante Alta. And we can see there Reece Linton getting himself back into the session. So he should be back with us hopefully soon. And then, of course, Joe Marquardt can hopefully get himself back in towards this session. And hopefully, if there's any issues, they're dealt with in the race dealt with in the qualifying rather than in the race.
Yep, just having a quick look here for everything which is going on. I believe we're already at 6 disconnects from this lobby.
Yeah.
A couple of the engineers and managers, trying to tempt them into, just restarting the lobby. I do believe there is a set threshold in the traditional PSGL rulebook for when we would restart the lobby, because at this point it would surely count as, some form of desync. Even if it's not, the traditional desync where we're seeing cars teleport around, it certainly is a form that is going to impact the drivers, their sort of way to delegate their way through the race.
Yep, indeed. I'm just hoping that we don't require a restart. I can see a few people asking in the Discord whether the plan will be to have a restart, but I don't believe that is the current proceeding. I think we'll still stay in this session and just hope everything goes to plan, because a few people have disconnected, but similarly to myself, all you need to do is restart the game and you can get yourselves back in. I think if people start disconnecting multiple times, I think that's when it becomes more of an issue. But we have around just under 12 minutes to go in this Q1 session here. Of course, the Lund will be seeing his way out of qualifying, so it's all down to see what the bottom 4, who will be in the bottom 4 by the end of this Q1 session. Obviously, it will be 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th that head their way out of Q1. And well, Josh, this could be a very, very interesting qualifying, because yet again, we've got a stupidly strong grid, haven't we?
Yeah, it feels, almost like a chore every single time we're here at E-Series, having to pick the drivers which are going to go out in certain parts of qualifying. It feels so outrageous to, look at the likes of these drivers who, any normal lobby, any other given day, you would be putting them for pole, without hesitation. But when it comes to E-Series, they're all so good. It's almost impossible to even kind of predict the top drivers, the medium drivers, and the drivers towards the lower end of the grid. It's part of the reason why we love E-Series. It's part of the reason why you guys enjoy watching it. It's part of the reason why we enjoy commentating. It's just down to the competitive nature of it. Of course, the standings say it as well. It's all looking rosy. But I will just say, we had a little talk before we went live, didn't we, about Matthew Bassett, Big Matty B. I've seen his pace in real life, and he, you weren't far off him, but he was clearly showing a bit of nerves, and I'm just hoping he's going to be able to keep his cool here today on the big stage here at E-Series.
Well, we'll ignore the fact that we were stuck on 63 brake bias, 70 differential, and pretty much no force feedback on those rigs, but we'll ignore that part, and we will talk about the fact I was at one point very close to his time. Brazil, it was still in the 1 minute 8, but yeah, I don't think anyone got much faster than that at all in that evening. But we're back here on the a bigger stage here than it was before, and of course he's at home in the comfort of his own rig, the comfort of his own settings and likabilities to his, the way he drives. So I'm sure Matthew should do a decent job. I did speak to him before the race, and he did say that he will be going to get of Q1 as the grid is too strong. But you never know, anything can happen around a circuit like this, because we know of the lap times being so short around the 1 minute 15s and 14s. It's very easy to get yourself through towards Q2 with everyone else behind making a slight bit of a mistake. Half a tenth mistake can cost you probably 3 or 4 positions around here.
Yeah, it's such a a technical track when it gets to that real nitty gritty about finding lap time. You're thinking about for Akko Minerali, the car is always on a knife edge heading through, the entirety of the second sector, even coming out of Tosa, as we see Kian there rolling the car up through there. It can be so easy just to lose a little bit of traction, get a little bit too much wheel spin, and overall just end up paying the price for it. And that could be the 1 or 2 attempts which could see you from getting pole position and sitting yourself in maybe a P8 or a P9. There's a finite amount of places at the circuit where you can really make a difference in a qualifying lap. And these drivers, they'll know that. They'll have set up their cars around that sort of window to try and maximise those opportunities. It should be very, very close, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But Apparently, it's looking like we might be looking for a lobby restart because apparently the lobby is now full.
Oh.
That's interesting. Drivers can't rejoin back because they're still technically in the lobby.
Yeah, so does that mean someone else has joined?
No, no one else has joined. The game just thinks the person's still there.
Oh, that is...
It's ghost drivers.
That'll be for Joel Marquardt, won't it, even who's still in the pit lane?
Yeah, it does look like it.
Yeah, well, hopefully he can get his way through. And Max Wiesler says that he's restarted his Steam and his F1, but obviously Joel can't get his way back in. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. And we'll see if we can get Joel back into the session. But we've got the first few runs here of qualifying getting underway. We can see Cian Godin up first, heading down in towards turn number 2 here at the Tamburello chicane, just throwing the car in there down towards 4th and 5th gear, getting back on the power on the exit, heading through and over towards the Villeneuve chicane at turns 5 and turn 6. Yet again, a very fast part of the circuit there, just throwing the car in, and hopefully you can get the confidence to carry lots of speed through. Down to Tosa, back on the power on the exit, up towards Piratello now at turn number 9. We'll go on board here with the Williams as he heads his way up there. You can see into 7th gear, shifts down towards 6th to get himself back onto the power, heading down a bit of a hill. If Laura hits Aqua Minerale here at turn number 11-ish, it's a very difficult corner here and very easy to go wrong and very easy to go wide, but Cian takes that very, very nicely. Now he has the Variante Alta yet again to go through. Very easy to also mess this chicane up here, especially on the exit. But so far, Josh, Cian's doing a brilliant job on this opening lap.
Yeah, it's been absolutely stunning just watching this car stick. I mean, it's just brilliant. I can't get over it, how beautiful these cars are running around Imola. The only one thing I would ask is that we have the chicane back down the start finish straight, but Cian doesn't care too much for that. He's going to approach the line with a 1:13.3. A very good start to his qualifying session, a very competitive lap time to get him on the board. As you see Daniel Koya there coming across the line with a 1:13.7. We're going to keep seeing these lap times close up to the back of Cian Godin because, of course, track evolution still plays a pivotal part around this circuit. Despite it not necessarily being covered in sand like we see around a couple of the other tracks, it certainly can be benefited from just by getting a couple more runs in on a set of tyres to make sure the track is in an optimal state to really try and push the car when it's going through all those lateral loads, looking up at turn 9, Piratello, and Aqua Minerale especially.
Of course, as we can see, a few more cars coming through. The two SRCs popping themselves into P7 and P9. We'll see Tamas Galt goes to the top there with his 1:13.2, and Thomas Ronhard there into 3rd position, just behind the back of E. Cabana on a 1:13.312. We'll see Reese Linton head up to line. He goes into P5. What about Istvan Pukki into P11? Dylan Warren, we'll see what he can do. He heads up to P11 to replace his teammates. And yeah, Ferrari not looking too comfortable at the moment, but there's still many lap times to go through with, as we can see, Timo Zelenkovic, unfortunately, having an invalidation, hence why he won't complete this next lap. He'll be heading back to the pit lane to get himself sorted out to go once again. And we can see there Matthew Bassett on a 1:14.1, a bit of a poor lap for him himself. He's, nearly a second off the time of Tamas Gal, so he must have made a big mistake on that lap there. But so far, Williams and RHG looking to be the strongest pair of teams. And then a little bit further back, we've got TES in the top 10, MBR in the top 10 with Nico Benz, Raidkush as well. So many teams here, apart from the top 2, looking very, very strong.
Again, we quite often see it here, don't we, with teams jotting maybe 1 or 2 drivers into sessions where you wouldn't necessarily think would be able to creep themselves into, but they always seem to find a way. And F7 are certainly a team where you can guarantee one of the cars are going to be able to make it through into Q3. But now I've said that, I can guarantee neither of the cars are going to get through. It's just the way it goes, apparently. But no, it's certainly one of those series where you can really see a couple of the drivers shifting up into different gears and really re-evaluating how they take the qualifying sessions. Some of them tend to go out nice and early, like we see Cian do quite often, just to make sure he can get a lap time on the board. He doesn't have to worry about traffic, but then we'll see almost the complete opposite when it comes to the likes of Istvan Pukki and, again, Nicholas Longe, who like to go out nice and early, but end up doing another prepping lap, so they start technically right at the back. It's certainly very interesting of the way the drivers sort of take it, especially around a track like Imola, where you can be risking quite a lot if a car ends up sliding in front of you. It can put you off, it can distract you.
Of course, and we can see lots of Thomas Ronhard there and Cian Godin up retiring on their lap times. Tamas Gal joining suit and along with Ika Bennett. So the top 4 know they're safe on their times, but we'll see how many people go. Once again, we can see there Jan Halliday down to Harry Lai. He's only just over a tenth and a half, so they might not be too safe, of course, on that lap time, even though Jan is up in P8 at the moment, and then the likes of Tugger Hardy about a tenth clear of him, and then about another 30 thousandths up to Reese Linton. So we'll see who chooses to go out at the end part of this session. The likes of Daniel Koya, Matthew Bassett, Timo Zelenkovic, and I don't think we'll get Joel Marquardt back in, unfortunately. They obviously need to go out for lap times. So lots of pressure here on Tima, Matthew and Daniel, and of course those ahead who are only really about a tenth ahead when you get up towards Jan Halliday Ferrari. Yes, again, Josh, in a spot of bother here.
Yeah, it's not been great for him as of recent, has it? I mean, you think about the last race, P2, P3, round Silverstone, brilliant, but you look slightly further back, and the pace hasn't quite been there. Whether it's a lack of consistency and an outright pace between the two drivers, it sort of differs between both of them. But considering what we saw last week, you would believe that they might be able to carry a bit more momentum through.
Yeah.
And whether they're just saving a little bit, maybe sandbagging for the Tifosi here at Imola, or, maybe just taking it a little bit easy. Maybe just settling themselves in, having a little run, taking it a bit cautiously before really trying to push on the laps. But you could certainly expect them to be shooting themselves up this order, really aiming to get through into Q3 and the top half of Q3 at that.
Well, I think this is one circuit, isn't it, that Ferrari want to get themselves a victory at. They want to 1-2, ideally around their home circuit here in Imola. So we'll see what they can do. Obviously, they have got a chance once again to go for another run here in this session. Obviously, Dylan and Isvan now just heading out of the pit lane. We can see, obviously, Timo Zelenkovic on our screens at the moment, heading out as well. Currently in towards Tosa in P18 at the moment, so he needs to find a big improvement on his lap time at the moment to get himself safely through in towards his next part of qualifying. We can see Matthew as well heading down into Tosa at the moment. A lot of pressure here on TF10, and I believe Joel Marquardt's back with us, which is good to see. So Joel is back in the session, so TF10 can run both cars here in qualifying, and we'll see what the TF10 team can do and hopefully get both their drivers through in towards the next part of qualifying. We can see Nelson Alves there with a grid penalty. Obviously, that doesn't matter at all because we will have a restart after this session has concluded. And we can see Reese Linton, of course, I missed that. He also retired on his 1 minute 13.408. So Shimon Lekomsky will be the fastest at the moment of all cars on track. And that shows, doesn't it, Josh, how close this grid is. P6, don't think they're safe.
Yeah, certainly goes to say something. But again, you look at that and it's, 300ths between Lekomsky and Linton?
Yeah.
That's a big risk for Linton to call it there.
But then again,
especially if
it's going to be a hard one, but I think he should be safe on that lap time, surely. But we'll see what he can do as well. He
should be, but it really just depends how much this track decides to, grip itself up and, evolve forward throughout the rest of this session. Because by the looks of it, Tycho Hardy is more than happy to chuck his car through, but he's still struggling to find a little bit of time out at Sector 1 there. It's going to be a bit more of a challenge trying to find the time in Sector 2. If you're not able to find it through the fast-flowing Sector 1, the more technical, off-cambered, and certainly suave Sector 2 is going to be even more of a challenge to try and find anything, just to be able to gain the confidence to be able to push the car that little bit harder up here through Aquamanarale, and he's validated, but fortunately for him, he's sitting P7. He's not in a crucial desperation part of this session where he needs to get a lap on the board. He might be able to squeak through, depending on how quick the rest of the drivers are able to get going.
Yeah, well, Daniel Kite is up by a tenth and a half in that middle sector, so he's looking quite strong here at this current point, and we've migrated host. That will be Dylan Warren who's had an issue. That is far from ideal. We'll keep going, though, as we presume the qualifying will still go, and no, the session's died. Oh, what the?
Yeah,
well, Daniel Kai's on pole. Yeah, Ricardo Benzani's crashed. Daniel Kai's on pole. Matthew Bassett's in the wall. This Van Pookie's parked over. Timo Zelenkovic is also running in towards the wall. So the qualifying session died at the end of Q1.
I say we take the values that all the drivers set, and we just run a reverse sprint grid. Brilliant. Sorted. Job done. Easy work. No, of course, we do have the rulebook for this moment exactly. We'll have to have another quick breeze over it to find out what's happening. But we can expect a restart for qualifying. I can always guarantee you that one.
Well, yes, we'll have Q1. We'll have Q1 once again here in this session. It looks like. And then Dylan says, just do short quali, which makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense,
Yeah.
to be fair.
But again, it all depends on the rules.
Because the issue is, we can't go straight into Q2. You have to do Q1 first.
Yeah. Right, here we go. A lobby collapse, split lobby, or a glitch lobby. The actions take event, blah, 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 blah. It's discretion of big CEO. If less than 50% of a race has been completed, that's not helpful.
Yeah,
Right, it's just race. So,
wait, so what's happened then?
well, there's nothing specifically. Oh, disconnections during qualifying.
So the session's ended, guys. There we are. Reece Linton is fastest by
Right.
Thomas Ronhar in second.
Brilliant stuff. No, looking at this.
Well, the worst part is here. If we go from these qualifying results like this, that would mean Kian, Leo, Jan, Tamas, and Harry are out. Obviously, Leo's going to retire
maybe
anyway.
Maybe we don't do that one.
Yeah, maybe not.
Okay. There's nothing under the
Right,
rule
so
book for
Connor
a split lobby.
has made his
right.
saying, and he said, Kian, host the lobby if you don't mind. Now, we need to wait to see what the big man says regarding qualifying. Is it short or is it full? We're all waiting for that message now. We're all waiting for Connor to type away and tell us what type of session we'll have. We'll move back over to the intermission screen prematurely so we can wait there and just wait and see what Connor says. And I can read
Sorry.
Max's message there. Max wants a full quali. Many people want short quali. He puts, I have time and a drink in my hand, so give me some spectacles, please. Oh, that's Max.
dear.
Always here for a laugh. If he's not racing, he's joking around, which is brilliant to see. The old man himself, of course, Grandpa Max Wiesel, and yes,
I feel like
the issue
we need to. I reckon we get rid of his spectacles. Just give him the one monocle.
Yeah, it would suit better,
Be
wouldn't
like-
it? Glass of whiskey,
Yes.
a monocle.
No, a glass of apple juice.
Oh no! You
No.
need to give him a proper drink. He's got to
Yeah.
engineer
apple
TF10 here
juice.
tonight, Josh. He's got to engineer Matthew Bassett. He needs a few drinks down him.
Well, I don't know. I'd still recommend apple juice. It gets a kick.
And I need
if you
to
have enough.
restart my game because for some reason he
Yes,
doesn't want to
mine
load me
as
back
well.
out.
It's fine. It's fine. The new game's on the horizon. How much are you looking forward to the new game?
Very.
Very.
Yes, very. Very,
feel
very
like-
looking forward to it.
Every commentator I've talked to is completely over the moon. Very much waiting with eager anticipation for this new game, hoping it'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, no, we've got Tamas Gal hosting the lobby now, so we changed hosts. Yeah, Keen doesn't want to.
Oh,
So we've got Tamas hosting, I believe. And we're still waiting to see what the qualifying will be because we're getting very mixed results here. We've got full and short being mentioned in the chat. In Discord, and we're just waiting for that decision to be made. Many people looking to vote full here, so it looks like we'll go for a full qualifying restart. And I'm surprised we haven't got any confirmation here yet.
I think you might even be checking the rulebook exactly as I did to find out there's nothing there. So, we've got Reece Linton saying one shot.
Maybe.
Fair
We'll
play.
see.
Fair play.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll get ourselves in shortly once Tamas Gal hosts the lobby. And Ron Har also asking for one shot as well. Well, maybe that's the plan of action. Go to one shot quality for a little bit. But Josh,
Honestly,
I think we've got a
why
bit of
not?
time, Josh. So why don't we have
Yes.
some words from our sponsors?
Oh, absolutely. Why not? I mean, I sit in a GT Omega chair, you sit in a GT Omega chair. Who else to bet hear from than GT Omega?
And welcome back, everyone. We're back once again, and we're getting our way through in towards the second lobby, but we're still waiting for the answer of whether it's short or full qualifying. We'll
Or
get
none
that.
at all. Random grid.
Yeah, reverse championship order in my eyes.
No.
That'd be interesting. That would be very interesting, to be fair. I'd enjoy that. That would be very, very interesting. But I don't think that'll happen at all,
No,
unfortunately.
I can't see it happening, but I'm envisioning it now in my head. TES pulling away with the lead on a great strategy. They retain the lead up until like the last 6 laps when a safety car comes out and ruins it for them. I can see it.
It'd be a
Literally just sat there.
TES NVR 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that would be interesting because that's the opposite of what we saw back in Silverstone,
Yes.
where it was a TES NVR 16, 17, 18, 19. So yes, it would be a complete swap of what it was before. And we're having dynamic weather and short qualifying here for E Series. So now, Josh, that brings a whole new element into it. Anyone can fight for
Yes.
pole the whole time.
Yeah, and considering as well, we were supposed to have completely dry running for the qualifying of a race. It's what, all the engineers, weather guides said. It's what I found on the Met Office as well. It's all supposed to be bone dry.
Yeah.
I feel like Connor just wants a little bit of carnage here by making Imola wet. I mean, we know throughout traditional Formula One history, it's been a bit messy when it's got to intermediate and wet conditions, and we've seen it in Formula One esports, let alone here at PSGL as well. It's always been certainly a very dramatic race in the dry, but when you just add a little bit of that unpredictability with the wet, it's incredible.
Yeah, and Connor makes a good point there. He says there's no rule about it, and if it was PCF1, this would be, they'd be doing short qualifying. So we're just following that normally, and I saw a message there from Frank saying TES cars not out in Q1. Well, there isn't a Q1, so no one can go out.
I mean, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I was about to say it's all technically Q1, but
We'll see what
no.
happens, because it's dynamic weather once again. So originally, it was dry. No, yeah, it was full dry the whole way.
Yes.
Now it's dynamic, it could be wet, it could be snowing, it could be hailing, we don't know. But another issue here presents us, Josh, and that means we'll have yet again another restart after this session because of the mandatory restart because of the penalties.
Yeah, but that's not the end of the world, is it? It's better to do that and make sure all the drivers we're all on the same page. We all understand what's going on now. We can get cracking on with it. That's perfectly fine. I do just want to point out, Timon in chat says we need a League of Pig live commentary. Are you aware of a pig racing?
Pig racing.
Yes, they'll take a bunch of the little pigs which run round, go oink. They'll put them all in a line. They'll put a trough of food at the end of a circuit, and then they'll let them all off a leader at the same time.
Really?
And then all these little pigs run through. They jump over like the little grass hedges like horses do. Everything. They'll run through puddles of water. They'll all try and find the ideal racing line. You'll see a couple of them making contact and falling over. It's brilliant. Timon introduced me to it.
That sounds brilliant. That actually sounds amazing.
Really, really is. Right, what I put forward, don't let anyone know, but if you're in chat, we don't tell this anywhere else, right? I put forward for the new F1 game at PSGL. If you don't know, I help manage the PC com side. A reserved bit of VT, only for these drastic measures when something goes wrong. Commentary over pig racing.
Wow, I wouldn't say no to that offer. That is an offer I could not refuse.
If you want to see it,
pig
racing. You've got a message. You've got a message. It's Big C. And then we've also got Ben Price asking if we want a cup of tea. I would love one.
Well, I like tea. It's a lot better than coffee, so I'll have a cup of tea. But it's going to be Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey tea.
I'll have anything. Peppermint, don't care.
See, you're speaking about pig racing, but I'm trying to remember. I saw a sport earlier. That was it. XL Esports. So Microsoft XL have an esports division.
Oh,
Microsoft
don't
Excel spreadsheets, which if people don't know what Excel is, it's literally the spreadsheet software. There is an esports tournament based on that. That was what I was thinking of, just because I thought pig racing, that's odd. But then, Microsoft Excel Esports.
I've got a rumour as well that the one and only Will Gibson, currently in chat, saying hi Josh, not hi Nathan. Josh is clear. Love you, Will. But rumour has it, Will's took a little break. He's actually founding a farming simulator esport team, which is a real thing, by the way.
It is, yeah.
It is a real thing, and it's very distressing to watch.
Well, we know what he will be farming, don't we, Will? Lots and lots of pigs and cows.
I always used to think barley was the most cost-effective one, though.
I don't know.
We're not talking about the meta of Farming Simulator E-Series.
I don't play that.
Too far. Too far. No, we can talk about hamsters and how many hamsters it takes to run an entire circuit, if you want.
Hamsters to run a circuit?
Yes.
Maybe. Since when was I doing Farming Sim? I thought you was playing Eating Sim well, to be honest.
Wow.
Harry says Will is a part of Brexit Bullers Esports, of course.
Hold on, Nick says he'll join.
Join
okay,
what?
okay.
Farming Sim.
Farming Simulator Esports.
Wow.
Farming Simulator has a LAN event. Right,
Yeah.
Oscar? Drop us the details.
That
for
was in Birmingham, that was.
We'll make a PSGL Farming Sim team and we'll take it by storm.
Yeah, the funny fact was that LAN was hosted in Birmingham, the brilliant
Oh
home city I
my.
live in. Brilliant home city. I would never want
It's
to
the
live
one I'm
anywhere
not far
else.
from.
I don't do Roblox adopts me well. And I will never dare say on here what your Roblox name is. I'll tell Josh afterwards. But no, it's not going to be said on here. Because you're a very naughty boy, Will. Disgraceful. But I hope we
Mine
can...
used to be Josh GM.
Mine's Pro Hydra 567. It was an old name I had. And 567 was...
okay.
Because it wouldn't allow me to have 1, 2, 3. Because when I made my account, the whole online thing was you can't have 1, 2, 3 consecutively. But 5, 6, 7 consecutively worked.
No, I do remember that because my cousin always used to have 1, 2, 4 at the end of his gamer tag.
And
Because
then...
he couldn't have 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yes, Nick. I'm not going to read that out, but yes. I wouldn't... Well, you are American, aren't you? So it would make sense. That one would indeed. Oscar says they did one in Poland. Oh, so it seems Farming Sim
Ooh.
goes all around the world.
Farming Sim Katowice.
Oh,
The
yeah.
cathedral of Counter-Strike. Overtook by farmers.
An ESL R1. Oh, he's a Canadian. Oh, that is quite mean then. I should not have said he's American if he's Canadian. That's like calling an Aussie New Zealand, isn't it? Or it's like calling an Irish person English. You don't do it, do you?
There's jokes to be made, but this is not the place to make them.
Hello, Christian. Welcome, mate. Hope
Oh.
you're doing well. Hello. I hope you're focusing on engineering tonight.
I mean, there's not much to engineer at this point, is
Harry
there?
Jenner says we'd have such a banging farm. I can't lie. We do need a Farming Simulator PSGL team. And then Harry says, "Will these for McDonald's points?" I would do the same if I could be bothered to open my app up, but I never do. So I got about 4 points or something, or like 40 points on mine. And then Nick says, just because I like hockey doesn't mean I'm Canadian. I think hockey's boring. The only interesting part I found about hockey was the compilations of when they go full speed into a wall and they just get up. I've seen those.
Okay, the thing which always scared me about hockey, right? Because I used to play on grass.
Yeah.
Ice skating's difficult when you're 6'6". I can't do it. I very much look like Bambi. There's a video at me somewhere on the internet where I'm trying to stand up and I'm literally running on a spot. But it was the goalkeepers for ice hockey, which always used to absolutely terrify me. They've got a fair bit of padding, but if you ever get an opportunity to touch one of the pucks, it's literally like trying to punch a road tyre. It's horrible. It's so hard, and you think they're getting absolutely pelted at you. It was insane. Right. Okay, Will, I bet you didn't know this, Will. I used to be a boxer as well. So there's your fun I did. There's your Josh Law tip.
Wow, it's brilliant.
I've got the hype for it. I'm literally made out of sticks. I'm fine.
Yeah, apart from when you get to the ring with someone like Tyson Fury, you'd be snapped in half and then snapped into multiple different pieces.
That's the reason why he's a world champion, and I never got that far because I don't want to go that far. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's probably recommended not to, Josh. With your physique, it wouldn't end very well.
No, it wouldn't. But I feel like we can raise a good point here. Out of the drivers on the grid, who do you think would be the best boxer?
Best boxer out of the drivers on the grid?
Yes.
I'm just looking down for names to see if there's anyone I recognise. That would be a henchman. You know what? Peso, Jan Halliday. Ho, what a boxer he'd be. He would get smashed in half. But yeah. Oh, Leo Lund. Leo in a ring, he would not end well. Leo Lund in the ring, he wouldn't. He's about 5'3". He weighs about 50 kilograms.
But it's small ones, which you've always got to watch out for because they've got to
They can slide under the boxes.
They've got to have the technique to get a good punch off. They can't just rely on
To be fair,
muscle.
Will makes a good point. Will says he'd be the best, but I think me and Will should have a heavyweight boxing fight. That would be brilliant. Leo, Will Gibson versus Nathan Richards. What a fight that'd be.
That'd be something. That would be
PSGL
something.
standoff. We then need someone who's like, we need two really small boxers to go fighting as well for a lightweight championship. So Liam Siemens versus Leo Lund would be good for
Omi.
that. Or Omi.
Get Omi.
Omi versus
Get
Leo
Omi.
Lund. Oh. Where do we do our fight? Will,
juicy.
we need to go through the tick. You know, have you seen the TikTokers when they do that like 9-month stage of training, when realistically they do about 2 days? We need to do that.
2
We need to make
days.
our TikTok
Here's a pad,
videos.
punch it.
in our
my.
training centres. I'll go down to my local. There's a local training centre right by the Tesco. I'll go in there and I'll get myself some shots made. Oh, that'd be brilliant. That would.
Right. Okay.
We can get Josh versus George Morgan. Ooh.
I don't feel like that one would end well.
Yeah. Who's then? Who in who? For you or him?
Neither of us.
True.
I mean, realistically, you know, why do we have to go against each other? Can we not like make this a WOR PSGL
Oh
competition?
yeah. That'd be brilliant. That would. Luke versus Connor.
Luke versus Connor.
Oh, what
Right.
about that'd be?
I'll call Dazan up and I'll try and get him sorted it out for the next Misfits boxing thing.
Winner,
to do.
winner of me
Oh.
versus Nathan, aka me, will do a fight against Josh. I love how
Okay,
this
well.
stream has turned into us talking about boxing because we've only just got 20 drivers in the session, Josh.
Yes, and it's 20. So in 40 minutes, you've missed absolutely nothing other than us deciding
Yeah.
who would box who
But
at PSGL.
I just realised this is perfect timing. 18 minutes
Yes.
in 20 minutes will be literally on the dot of what we'd normally be by the end. So
Brilliant.
technically, we're not going to be behind. We're not going to be behind, which is a good thing indeed.
It's
and now-
calculated.
You can ignore us talking about boxing. You can ignore Will
Yes.
talking about me versus him, which will happen one day. It will happen. And now we can get back into towards some more action here on your screens, loading in towards the short qualifying session here for Imola, round 7 of the championship. And, well, we go once again. And this time, just a short qualifying, of course, so no one gets knocked out. If you're on pole in this session, you're on pole.
Yeah, exactly. It's in my eyes, it's the way qualifying should always be, but I know other people think about it differently. I always feel like every driver, very much IndyCar style, give it a go. You got 1 lap, have it. Not necessarily always waiting around with these tactics, but we will have to realise, because it's all compacted now into this short window, we'll have 20 drivers fighting for that same piece of tarmac. That's not going to
Yeah.
work well around
No.
such a short circuit. It won't work well around a long circuit, but definitely not Imola either.
And with a grid full of such... oh, we've already had a disconnection. Brilliant.
Oh,
Oh,
it's okay.
What a good
It's only
start.
one. It's only one.
Yeah, only one for now. But we can see the cars heading out onto circuit. I've clicked onto Tamash at the right time. He's just heading out onto track now. A few cars just heading out ahead of him. And well, finally, cars on track. It says Q1, but ignore that because the game haven't fixed that since it came out in July. So it's going to be just a short qualifying session here tonight. And well, pole position here. The good thing is, Josh, 20 drivers now fight for it, not 10. It's double.
Yes.
So technically, you've got half the chance to take it than you normally would here, which puts a lot of pressure on those that normally just about finish in the top 10.
Yeah, it's very much just absolutely go for it, have a bit of fun, and get yourself a lap together. There's very little having to, manage your tyres, make sure you can carry enough through to the next session.
Ooh, but a bit of battling already.
It's completely go for it, and this is exactly what we'd love to see, as we've got a lot of these drivers here squabbling over position. But Kean Gordon-Dorp, as mentioned before, he quite often likes to be the first driver out the pits, but you can already see here he's getting swallowed up by the pack with other drivers who want that track position in this short qualifying.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be quite interesting here, but it's going to be... I think the main thing is how quick it's going to run. Literally, it's going to be 3 runs, all fighting for pole. That's it. There's no fight to get at a Q1. There's no fight to get at a Q2. It's just all going for pole position. Josh is left as well. Josh, are you able to get back in?
Oh, we love EA.
Oh, it's begun. It's
I hope
begun.
so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, we're hoping Josh
Right.
can get back in. And look at this, guys. Look there at well, it's broken up a bit now, but for a second you saw 6 cars all together heading in towards Variante Alta. So it'll be who will it be that's going out first? Will it be Reese Linton? It will be Reese Linton, who leads the pack away for the first runs here of qualifying. Obviously 15 minutes to decide who gets pole position. Reese Linton goes first. Then behind him will be one of the Estevanels, followed by one of the Williams Esports cars. So we'll see what Rieslington can do. Hopefully Josh can get his way back in shortly. So we'll go on board here with the Alpine Racewatch driver as he heads down now towards turn number 1. We'll see what he can do on this next lap. Heading down in towards turn number 2 now, the Tamburello chicane, breaking around that 50-metre board, throwing the car into the corner, down to 5th gear, back on the power, throw it through. Very nice so far here from Rieslington now. In towards the Villeneuve chicane, yet again braking very late in towards here, down to 6th gear, down to 5th, back on the power. As you head down now in towards Tosa, yet again braking very late, folding the car in, touching the apex on the inside, running wide on the exit. Very nice so far here for Reese. He heads up the hill in towards Piratella now, yet again braking very late, down to 6th gear, getting back on the power. Brilliant so far here from the Alpine driver as he heads down in towards Aqua Minerale, down to 4th gear, just trying to fold the car through, tried not to go wide on the exit, otherwise that is your lap time finished. Then Variante Alta throws the car in down to 3rd gear. Very nice on the exit. Probably could have carried a bit more speed through on this opening run here for Rieslington, but still he's got many more runs he can take in this session now as he heads down in towards the 2 Ravazza. Ravazza 1 first, then Ravazza 2. I think he lost a little bit of time through there. It wasn't the most clean here from Reese as he heads now up towards line. We'll see what it can be. What will the first lap be? A 1:13.1 here for Rieslington, and then it will be Tiger Hardy who goes back into the pit lane. Same with his teammate. We'll see Keane Godin up now go up to provisional pole. Just trying to find someone coming through into the final few corners. We've got Matthew Bassett as well heading through the final couple of corners. Pit lane being met by many drivers at the start of qualifying here. Matthew Bassett goes up into 3rd there with the 13.7. Tamas Skal goes up to the top with the 13.0. Josh, are you with us yet?
I need an invite back to the lobby. You've got to love it. You really have to, don't you?
We'll try and get you in quickly.
No worries. But no, looking through the stream there, you can really see these drivers trying to push the cars to absolute extremities, especially for Aqua Minerale. They're leaving nothing on the table. Thank you very much.
Of course, as we can see a few more cars come through. Lukomski up into 3rd. Benzoni up into P5 there. What can Isfan Puka do? He's heading down towards the next couple of corners now. Rivalta 1, he'll be met with first. And many drivers there, Josh, went back into the pit lane. They didn't bother completing their lap.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. You know, you would consider a couple of these drivers to maybe go test the waters a little bit, maybe try and push it. But of course, you know, sometimes it can be easier to try and get into that zone right from the off. You know, not necessarily building up the pace during this qualifying session, especially considering we only have the short qualifying now. They want to absolutely go for it. They want to be able to put a lap together and make it a lap which counts. So if they start pushing, you know, right from the set of their lap, and just to kind of experiment a little bit more with Sector 1, with Sector 2, and really try and maximise and understand the direct track limits to the millimetre. That's where we're going to be able to find a lot more time. So we can expect a lot of drivers to kind of tease us with a lap here before actually going and putting 2 solid ones on the board. But again, that comes with a risk. You don't build yourself up into a lap. You can, you know, overpush it and overdrive the car slightly, which of course can cost you time, or it could even cause you your entire lap with the invalidation.
Of course, and we can see Tiger Hardy out on an out lap in this session, one of the first to head off onto a new set of laps. We can see Sampuki's left the session as he heads back into the pit lane. Hopefully he can get back in shortly. So it seems the issues here of people disconnecting seem to still be happening, which is not ideal, but it's not as bad as it was early, which is definitely a good thing indeed. We can see Tiger Hardy now just heading down in towards Variante Alta. P18 at the moment, obviously needs to get himself a lap on the board, and hopefully he can also be looking to fight for that top 10 here in qualifying. Obviously, we know that S7R is sitting second in the championship, but all those behind, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, are all looking to press in and try and make a charge. Obviously, only 68 points, I believe it is, that separates the top 7 in the championship, Josh. And that's considering Williams and F7R, sorry, are a little bit further ahead than those behind.
Yeah, they're, what, 27 points ahead, F7R Ferrari for 2nd to 3rd. You take that out of the equation, you know, you've got so many different opportunities, so many battles which can happen. Especially looking, you know, from not necessarily a pessimistic view, but certainly looking from, you know, a more of an underdog standpoint. Of course, you've got the Veloce Academy. Otis did a fantastic job last week, basically dominating the entire race. Max Verstappen-esque, looking to move himself further forward. You know, you got Minsky here as well. Unfortunately, Leo with the qualifying ban, he must have had a very boring time, as we've got Keane Gordondor disconnected from the session. The servers really aren't having a fun one today, are they?
No, they're definitely not.
No.
Not at all.
No.
As, we can see Tycho here heading through into that middle sector now, up in towards Aqua Minerale. We'll see what can Hardy do in this part of qualifying. About 10 minutes left to go in this session. He wants to get himself a decent lap on the board. Surely he goes purple in that middle sector on my screen, so we'll see. Will this be a possible top 5 here for Tiger Hardy? Luckily, Daniel Kaya can get himself back in towards the session now, so he can continue to try and settle up here for F7R himself. Obviously, racing in the AlphaTauri car. And we can see Tycho now heading at the final corner up towards the line. What will it be here for F7R? Will it be a top 5 for Tycho? Goes into second. Brilliant there from F7R to get Tiger Hardy into the top 2 for now. But we want to see, what does Thomas Ron Hardy? He's in P14 at the moment. As we saw then, was it Nico Benz, Josh, popping himself up into the top 5?
Yeah, brilliant stuff so far from all these drivers. Tiger Hardy doing exactly what you would expect of one of the F7R cars to do. Just get himself in amongst the top 5. But you mention it, Thomas Ronhart, he is simply the best at this game, isn't he? He's able to find a lap time almost out of nowhere, but he's being kept very honest by the competitors he's got here at E-Series. He's not being able to walk away with these dominating lap times. Jan Halliday, 13.007. Very, very close, but we are getting more drivers disconnected from the lobby, and a couple of them are reporting they can't rejoin.
Oh, no. No, not again.
Which means they're having to restart their PC. So it really comes down to who's invested in a NASA PC to be able to get their computer turned back on in time,
Now,
get all their rigs set up, make sure everything's working correctly before coming back into this session and getting a lap on the board with only 9 minutes remaining. Yes.
The question is, do we keep going with the race in the sense of this has become unfair? Hasn't it? Let's be honest, it's become unfair because many drivers don't have the opportunities to go back out of the circuit and get a lap. So,
yeah,
do we continue or do we stop? Because it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it, here?
it is. You know, I feel like best case scenario, what we could do is maybe just run the race, make it for no points. We just let these drivers have a bit of fun. All of them want to race. I mean, most of the drivers, I'm sure, wouldn't mind racing for a little bit of fun. But, end of the day, from a competitive integrity point of view, questions can start being raised, especially if you're, I know one of the drivers at the minute, Kian Gordondorp, saying, you know, it's not really looking in a great position. We've got, you know, the coordinators monitoring it very, very closely at the minute, seeing who's getting affected, who isn't getting affected, but again, it's so unfortunate for the drivers which are getting affected because it's not only, you know, this broadcast which is affected, it's not only this session, it'd be all of their practice, all of their time which they've put in, dialing in the setups, getting a race for in practice. We was talking to Timon earlier who said about the SRC drivers, they've done a fair amount of practice. I'm not going to say the exact number, but they've done both runs in the dry, in the wet. They've been religiously practicing for this race to get themselves back into contention. If a race doesn't go ahead, it's going to be such a low blow for them.
Of course. And we've got a few drivers now onto circuit to set some more lap time. Still a bit of an aura of concern of what's going to happen in regards to this race. Will we continue? Will we not? We're just going to wait for the message to be clear. Many drivers are not happy with us continuing here with qualifying and, of course, continuing with this race on a whole. And I've saw someone asked about moving it to next Wednesday because obviously PSGL PCF1 has ended, hasn't it, here for this game? So maybe we could move it to there and have a bit of a change, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But we've got Istvan Pukki back in. Tiger Hardy's now left the session. So I really can't see this going ahead here, Josh, because it's becoming too unpredictable. Half the drivers aren't able to set lap times because half of them can't get back into the session on Nico Benz, Istvan Pukki. I think it was Daniel Carr as well, all had issues at the start, and many other drivers now having issues at this current time. But we'll see what people can do if they're on a lap. We've got Daniel Carr heading up towards Antialta, down at turn number 12. We'll see what he can do on this run. Obviously, still no lap time set for him down at the bottom of the field, and Keane's also got himself back in, so hopefully he can set another lap here in quali. And luckily, we've still got another 6 minutes left here of this session.
Yeah, certainly going to be hot on the press to find out what's going to happen. But in other note, you know, a slightly brighter side of all of this, it's lovely to see some drivers are finding a bit of joy and making a couple memes in the chat while they're trying to reconnect. With Jan Halliday saying, "Of course I peak when all of this decides to happen with the servers."
Yeah. Big shame for Jan. Remember, this was one of the tracks he got a podium at last Challenger season. He got P3. I was very happy when I saw Pesso at the top of, well, in the top 3, of course. And Lefty, hello, Lefty, mate. Welcome in. Yes, the full quali session blew up. It blew up at the last about 20 seconds, and
Yep.
then we started the session again. And now we've had half the people either join and leave at some point, and some of them be stuck out the session. So the question is whether we still continue, but as the unpredictability is quite high, and many people haven't even been able to set a proper lap, or have only had one chance to set a proper lap here in this session. But we have here on a lap now, Josh, Thomas Ronhart heading through in towards that first sector here. We'll see what he can do on this next run.
Yep, chucking it in over Villeneuve to the left, to the right, being careful not to extend the track there too far before heading all the way into Tosa. Again, brilliant amount of traction to be gained here. You can see running over that exit curb with not a single worry before keeping it to the right-hand side, picking the breaking point perfect for Peratella. Yes.
It's cancelled.
Oh, it's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened.
So
wow.
Connor has sent us a message through saying, on grounds of fairness in the competition, tonight's race will not continue. It's very random, and we will discuss what will happen next in due course. So that means, guys, we're done here for tonight, which is a big shame. We didn't get anything out of this session at all. All we saw was that Thomas Runner was very quick, and that Jan Harday peaked in the only time that he needed to, and this is the time where the race gets cancelled. So we'll move back over to the intermission screen, and what a weird session this has been, Josh. This is the most weirdest stream I've ever conducted at all.
So we've discussed setting up a PSGL boxing match.
Yep.
Luke versus Connor, main event.
Me versus Will. You versus George.
Yes, but we're still yet to find a driver who could have potentially got pole. It feels like we've kind of been robbed in the Formula One sense, but I mean, surely we could just rename this to the Imola podcast, no?
Well, that's what it's pretty much been. Yeah, I'm very unlucky. It's been cancelled, but as you said in the chat, there's money being decided for this. It's not fair to have it in the sense of being lucky and not being part of that unpredictability scenario. Thursday asked what's happened. It's been cancelled because the servers have been brilliant as usual. EA, what a game they have made. Honestly, this is the best game I've ever played in my life. The best game I've ever commentated over in my life. Well, that bit's true because all the other games I've commentated over are worse.
Oh,
what?
Nathan, hold the phone. Hamash Gal has just got P1.
Oh, brilliant.
Hamash on pole, sorted. Start waving the flag. RHG1-2.
Yep,
sorted.
And then TS third, NVR fourth. That is what we love to see. So in my opinion, that's the results for the race.
Honestly, write it down. Chat, write it down. Get the petition going.
Well, Mick would say some darts content in the meantime. Well, the unfortunate part would be I'd have to be playing darts for around a week for that to happen. So that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But, well, Josh, I think we have to kind of end it here because there's nothing else to talk about. Imola, nothing happened at all apart from Thomas Gall taking pole and Thomas Ronhart being in second when half the drivers didn't get a chance to set a lap. Many drivers getting disconnected, many angry engineers, drivers, managers in the chat, and also a very frustrated Connor that was probably wanted to have a very calm and relaxing evening, but unfortunately that was not the case. So, Josh, any last words from you before we head off?
Well, hopefully it'll be able to get shifted around, and hopefully the driver lineups won't change too much, because I would say this was probably one of the strongest lineups we would have seen here at E-Series so far, but it is a massive shame. But again, would like to thank every single one of you for sticking with us, tuning in, watching, listening to us waffle, and interacting with us in chat, making the time go by a little quicker. It is lovely to get to talk to every single one of you again. But it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's out of our control, unfortunately. It's out of the driver's control. It's the best thing to do.
Of course. So yet again, guys, to obviously reiterate what Josh said, thank you for everyone for joining in. Thank you for popping into the chats, even though it meant nothing. And well, we'll be back hopefully next week, and obviously we'll figure out what's going to happen. If there's any sort of change of, when this race will be moved to, we'll let you know, of course, on Twitter, Discord, wherever you need to know, it will be there. So yet again, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you again next time for some more re-series. Good night.